we do here is go back.
Alright, what's up everybody? Let me make sure. Yep, looks like the microphone's on. Hopefully you can hear me good. Alright, welcome back. We got our Screaming Skull design here today. We're going to go back over today and just do another demo on this. I've done this one before. You've seen me do it before. What's up, Chris420 Dragon there in the chat. What's up, Olin White? How's it going? So I just want to give this a quick little touch up. Ouch. Just touch back base on it. We're gonna go maybe a little more detail. We have it blown up a little bit bigger today too, so that we could kind of do a little more detail and stuff on it. I'm gonna start off today, or what I've done so far, for all those people that might be new, watching for the first time. If you're watching in the future. So we're painting on watercolor paper, 140 pound or 300 grams per square meter, something like that. I think that's what it stands for. But I think that's the most important part. You can find it in this Grunblocker brand, this Premier brand, and the most important part is to just that 140 pound, 300 grams per meter squared. I printed out the design. This design is available in the link down below, or you could head over to mikesbrush.com. There's a big tab on the top that says Airbrush Videos, and you will find one of the links there is how to airbrush a Screaming Skull, and you'll find this design there. It's free. You could download this, and you could practice this design at home following this nice tutorial we're about to do. All I did was print it out on a normal sheet of print paper, and then I used a little bit of hot performance middleweight bonding mist. I think I said last time the important part is to get the mist. Don't get the one that says webbing. The Super 77 by 3M, that works good, or I forget what the 45 is called. They have a 45 one as well. And then all I'm going to do is take an X-Acto knife. I haven't pre-cut it today, so I'm just going to go ahead and just cut this out. And I'm not really going to push it down too hard on the blade. I should probably put a fresh blade, honestly. Let me finish this line and I'll put a fresh blade on. What's up, Lappy402? How's it going? What's up, Chris? ¿Qué pasa, primo? Alright, so I just put a fresh blade on there. And then I'm just going to go through here and cut this out. Now when you blow it up like this, obviously the lines are going to be a little bit bigger. That's quite okay. Just follow them as best you can, and those little weird angles and stuff, that'll might add on to the whole effect of this stencil in the skull. And I'm just making sure to go all the way around the outer edge first. I like to just start off with all the outside, so I know that that's cut and I don't have to worry about cutting the outside edge anymore. Now, I think last time we were live, somebody asked if I'm ever scared about going and cutting the watercolor paper. And like I said last time, this watercolor paper is like pretty tough. And the print paper is not. So all you want to do is push. I mean, not even push, just lay the needle down and then run it I like using the big blade with a small handle because it gives the blade like an angle like this. So kind of set it, but when you set it back like this, see that angle it has there? Then you just run that, and you got it at a nice like 45 automatically, and that's about the magic angle that you want to get a nice clean cut without having to keep replacing the blade or breaking the blade. I know if you try to run the blade too tall like this, you have a better chance of breaking off the tip right away. So I try not to do that. Sometimes it feels like it's inevitable, just so you can see what you're doing, but you know, just try to avoid it as much as you can. Hit that like button, yeah. What's up, Craig Miner? How's it going? You can use a 3M repositionable spray adhesive. Yep. What's up, Martial Artistry? Chris 420 Dragon coming into the Skull Squad. Yeah, boy. Welcome, sir, to the Skull Squad. So these angles on the camera today, yeah. So this is probably not the most exciting part to watch, but it is part of the process. A lot of people asked, how do I cut it without cutting through the papers? And here it is. This is me cutting it live and on camera for you guys. No hidden tricks or movie stuff, editing or whatever. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. So we're just doing it live. I have had a hard time hand cutting because I tend to use too much pressure. You hate throwing blades out. Yeah, I try to never use more than one blade per project. Granted, I just cut, we're just cutting this once. But I know if you're trying to get the best cuts always, it's always best to use a nice sharp blade all the time. Just, I know it's easier said than done. Like I said, the thing that I've liked doing is doing this, using that big blade, the big handle with the small blade, and you're able to get the blade it looks like it's kicked back at an angle like that. So when you're using it, it's like, even though you're putting the stick nice and straight, the needle is at a nice angle, so you don't have to worry. And then if you use it like a pencil, which is the way I like to use it, I just like to use it like a pencil like this. It gives you a nice, perfect little angle on the blade, and that usually helps to keep the blade nice and sharp. Is if you're just not trying to push down right directly on that tip. It also lets the sharp edge of the blade just run through your material. And I'm just lightly just running it on there. It's more just about holding the blade against the paper, and then, like I said, if you have the proper angle, it kind of it slices in, and then you're just dragging that slice to where you need it. I'm trying to remember if I got it all now. I think I got it all. I think that's it. All right, so today we're gonna start by peeling off the outside edge. All the outside, we don't need this. We're gonna start off by doing a background, and here you can see that old dull blade, you see? Where I didn't want to change it to start off. And now I gotta go back and recut this with a nice new blade. Look at that. Okay, so we'll take that guy off, and we'll take this guy. And I'm of the mentality too that it might be better to just cut twice and cut light, right? And maybe you have to run it twice, and that's okay. That's why you'll see me, like, I always say, oh, I didn't cut it good enough, but it's kind of on purpose. I'm trying not to go into the second paper, right? I'm just trying to cut through the first. So when you see me recutting like that, that's probably a lot better than just applying a bunch of pressure to start off with and then ending up going through both papers. So, no camera tricks. You got it. I was looking at getting a new airbrush, and I said after the 30th, hopefully I win something. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, you never know. Good luck. You get hooked on. You can never have enough. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can never have enough airbrushes. That's for sure. Yeah, you try to use more of the flat part of the blade. So if you like I said, if like the way I'm using it, you kind of have a nice like 45-degree angle from the blade side, right, against the paper. And that's kind of what I would suggest more, is you kind of want to slice the paper more than try to like poke the paper, right? So anyway, we got that all cut out. I want to start off, we're going to do the background. And I think I want to use a nice little stencil here. We'll take part of the texture effect stencil here. I want to take this piece out of the texture effects kit. That's what I'm going to use. You can use any other stencil. There's a lot of stencils out there that have like nice little webbing designs or texture designs. All I'm going to do is use some color. I think I'm going to use some red. And we're going to build up a nice little texture kind of coming off the skull, kind of in a cone on both sides, as well as a nice little shadow to just kind of differentiate the skull from the rest of the painting. So start off by loading up some red. Got a cheap one just to get the muscle memory started, learn techniques. I mean, yeah. We all have to start somewhere, right? Nobody starts at the top, so. Ain't no shame in that game. That's good. Giving this a shake up real quick. Now this stencil has this edge here, this edge, so I'm going to use that first to kind of bring in. And I'll do kind of coming on the other side. And I'm just going to start by building up the cone shape going both ways. Some of this guy right here. Almost looks like clouds or something, right? Almost. Then we're going to come in with our center part. I want to go a little darker on these. I really want those nice and red in there. Right, so we got a bunch of nice little splatter. Then I'm going to take some and I'm going to hold it away a little bit. And I'm just going to give it some blurred out. And we'll kind of get that design kind of fading off there into the back. There you go. And I could probably bring you guys in closer. What's up, Hugo? So up in here is probably the last bit I want to do with this stencil. So I just maybe want to come in here real quick, do some of this, and some of that. Bam. I'm just going to take some red. And we're going to go along that edge. I'm not going to go all the way up. I'm going to just stop it right there. Then I'm just going to do a nice blend going out. Same thing at the bottom and on the right. Go around the mouth on the inside. We want to leave a little bit of little highlights up in there. But now you got all this craziness kind of coming off the sides. And I see right here, maybe up here, we need some more of this right here just to bring it up. Some there, and maybe some right there. Bam. Nothing too crazy. And then just make sure we get a nice good blend. You always want to keep building it up little by little. You never want to go super heavy right away. So all I'm doing is just building up the red, going side to side. I think the camera's doing a pretty good job. And then we can move on. Start off with some gray. I believe I have gray loaded. Yep. Alright, so now with the gray loaded, I'm going to take off a few pieces here. We can start off with this piece on the jaw, the two eyes. And as always, I'd recommend you keep these here, like I'm just setting them down right here on the side. Just in case we need to use it to add in back like that edge there. If we get overzealous with some of the other colors, we could always go back and just touch up those edges. So we'll take all that off, and then the back of the jaw here. Hopefully I did a good job of cutting. Let me Oh, I forgot to cut. There you go. So we can leave all those areas exposed. And I'll just come in with some gray. Just starting in. And I'm just going to start down here with the bottom of the jaw, and then we'll move our way up. So you have the teeth here. And so I would just kind of come in. And right where the edge of those teeth is just bring a nice little shadow of gray right there. Nice little shade. And we're going to use gray and black to build it up. And then all we're going to do is just build up the shape of the jaw there. We want to leave a little bit of that white on the edge there. But we are going to come back with black and kind of reinforce this a little bit. But this is kind of a dark area. It's underneath the mouth. So we're just going to kind of go ahead and gray it out so it gives us a good base to do some shading with our black. And then just bring this over. Shade all the way around. Fill that little gap right there in the jaw. Fill that one in. Make sure you got a nice shadow coming in here. And then the eyes. You're going to want... Instinctively, you think like you want to shade the top, you know, and then just bring it down. But I'd recommend maybe just having a little fun and doing it like from the side this way. Alright, you're going to bring the gray all the way across, but you want to lay the really heavy gray right here on this side. Right. Almost looks like he's looking that way. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to use my finger right here. And go up and over. Boom. Go in here. Right there. Then we'll come in with some black. So now with the black, again, we're just going to kind of reinforce what we did with the gray. And I'm going to come in here and we're going to start adding some nice little ridges to the inside of the jaw there. And if you've done a good job with the base of the gray there, you can just kind of bring in some nice little details with the black. And we're doing this with black because, again, this is like the farthest, the deepest, the darkest area here. So this is why we're using the black. But again, the black over the gray like this, you could add in some details like right here. You could bring in the bottom or the top of the mouth right there, kind of bring it around. Drop a nice shadow going down. But again, you kind of want to play with the imagination a little bit right here. Let the viewer's imagination kind of decide what's going on there. You just provide some nice shadowy tones and, you know, the idea of something's there, but let their mind kind of figure it out. I've seen that happen to me a lot of times where I'll look at something, I'm like, oh man, that looks cool. And then I'll go back and re-look at it and be like, oh wow, like, like some of that was in my head. But he did such a good job just adding little hints. And if you do that, you know, you get some nice good effects. So again, on the nose, we just come in here, we can start adding our kind of bone lines coming in. So again, just detailing the inside of the eye there, giving a little texture of the bone, some cracks. It's the same thing on the other side, just going to kind of bring in some nice cracks. Here we could bring in that edge a little bit, and we can bring in this edge. Bring in the edges! All the edges! Boom. Alright, so now we switch back over to the gray. If we could lift this up. I tell you to lift it up if I could lift it up. Oh, come on. So we just fold that one over there. And before we take off this jaw on the bottom, we gotta, that's unfortunate right there. Okay. Peel that back. Ooh, the chat's really quiet. Alright, so then we're gonna just hit in the shadow right here. All we're doing. Same thing coming in here, just hitting in a nice shade. You can start bringing in some texture if you like. Use that edge while you have it, right? Switch back over to the black real quick. You hit this edge. I can't even tell you how many times I've done this skull or some variation of it. People really seem to like this position, I think, more than anything. It makes the skull look like something, like it just, you know, it's like, And I believe that has something to do with it more than anything else. So yeah, this is one this is one of those designs I definitely recommend you have in your books, your demos, and your little portfolio there, because this is a good one. I think everyone is learning. Yeah. So if anything, if you guys are anything like me, so like the other day I came in and I was doing these saddlebags, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna stream this. And then I came in, I sat down, and I popped up YouTube. And the first thing I see was that Scott McKay was live. And so instead of going live, I popped up his channel, and then I just sat here and was painting while listening to him talk. I had some music going and his voice going, and you know, I was just kind of zoning out with painting. And I suspect that's kind of what a lot of other people do. At least I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just weird. But all I'm doing now is just building up the jawbone. It's kind of exaggerated, but you got pretty much a nice shadow going around the edge right here. And then just bring in the next one. We got a big like circle bone, and that connects all the way back. And then you can just shade the edges along the edge there. And then the same thing here, you're going to want to mark off kind of where those teeth are, right in the center. Right here we have a missing tooth, so we're just going to do a nice little shadowy pocket. And with some bases for some black right there. And then mark off the teeth that we do have. Bring in the shadow all the way around. Ritmo fiesta. Saludos. Alright, so all I'm doing is just bringing in that jawbone all the way down. And I'm just going to come in here and just do a little bit of detail here with the gray while I have it out. Bam. Switch over to the black real quick. Real quick. See how quick that was? I'm working with black now. So quick. First we're going to get those sockets, right? Going to hit that little bottom edge of these teeth. Make sure you hit right on that corner of where every like little V of the teeth meeting. Then we're going to leave just a little bit of space. And then we're going to lay in a little shadow right there. And we're going to bring that down. It's black right there. Right there. Right like that. Same thing. And maybe lay in a nice little crack coming in right here. And then just reinforce the shading of the gray. I'm probably only going to do it here on the bottom side of this, and then right up on the edge right here. just to bring that right to the back. And there you go. Got the bottom jaw done. And we're going to leave the teeth to the very end. So at this point, we can start working on the top of the skull. And we're going to start right here with that little piece. I'm just going to do some nice gray right there. Simple. And then we can peel off the rest of the top of the skull. Now, if you've never done this exercise before, when you peel this off, you're going to be like, oh, it already looks good. Oh, I don't want to touch it now. Oh, because it's going to look pretty good like that. Right? So, obviously, oh, no, I don't know. I don't want to mess it up. No, continue. You'll be fine. I believe. Right? So, all we're going to do is right here. We're going to start on this cheek and work our way this way. So, on this cheek, we're going to come in right along the edge. And we're going to bring a shadow right on that flat spot. We're going to bring it up. Going towards the eye. See the eye socket? Just straight up like that. Bam. And go underneath the eye socket over here and around. Nothing too crazy. You can soften up that edge a little bit using the gray right there. Boom. Teeth down here. There's a socket right here. Just mark it off. And mark off the teeth going up. This right here is the center, 2 teeth. So you mark that all the way up. Bring in a nice little V right there. Then right next to this teeth, there's 1, 2 missing teeth. Bring a nice shadow around. Mark off the 2 sockets. Right in between those teeth, the same way we did the bottom teeth. We're just coming up, blend into that shadow right there. And then we're going to start bringing in some bone texture. Just some nice little spotting, some ridges. You could do some little pre-cracks. Let your imagination run with it. This isn't like a photorealistic skull or anything we're doing like that. So you're free to have a little fun. And that's the cool thing about doing some freehand stuff. And if you're doing it bigger like this, which is what I recommend, you can kind of get in there and do a little bit more detail, right? So all you got to do is just take a little time, get in there, and have a little fun. Add in that there, we'll soften this up, around. Go, just have a little fun. Don't be afraid to experiment a little bit with the brow. But generally, all you want to do is just kind of shade it in from the outside in. Kind of want to give it some roundness. And you want to give it a little bit of texture, a little bit of detail, something going on inside of that area. You don't want to just leave this area just blank or just smooth, because it just starts looking like a really smooth skull. And you know, it can be a little weird. So at this size, you can really just have a little bit more fun with it. You can play with it. In a crack like this, and we're just going to shade it going up, and another one, same thing, just shade it going up, add maybe some texture right here. we go. I switch over to the black. Now when it comes to the top of the head, there's only a few places you probably need some black. So what does this say? I usually end up looking at the other way. Geez, that looks like shit. That I push through it and it all works out. Just like you get to a point where you have to keep going to bring it out and make it pop. Yep. Yeah, if you go a little too ham, it can feel like you just went a little too ham. But you could always bring it back. Nothing is final, right? Like that's artwork. You could always work on it and improve it. So again, I'm just coming in with the black, and we're just going to reinforce what we did there with the gray. I'm going to bring in some more ridges there for the teeth. Some more shading kind of coming in this way for the cheekbone. This teeth sockets right here, bring in this guy. Don't get discouraged too. You see me doing these strokes really nice and quick. If it takes you a little longer, if you just gotta kind of work in some areas and then kind of come back and do the next part later on or something, it's quite okay. Okay, I've been doing this for a long time, so don't be discouraged if you're not as fast as me. I've had a lot of people say, well, you're going too fast. It's like, if you're watching this later on, when you're practicing, feel free to pause the video, leave it paused, and catch up. Do what you need to do until you feel comfortable. The only reason I like to move a little bit quicker in my strokes is because it makes the strokes just a little bit smoother, right? So I think I've said this before, but when I was first learning the airbrush, what I should say is, when I got my first job, like actual job airbrushing, I was working with D over at the Citadel Mall, and if you guys were here a few months ago, maybe a little bit more than a few months ago, it's the place where I was doing the live streams for a while out of. And I was 16. I was still super kind of new. I wasn't like, I wasn't all that good. I was barely getting started. And D was the one that told me at the time that if I was going to paint, right, that I had to be a little bit more confident in my strokes. So instead of second guessing myself and having to do that, if I was just sure before I started and I did it, that it would be a lot smoother, and he was right. So ever since then, that's kind of just I try to work a little bit quicker because it does ultimately produce just a nicer, smoother result. So yeah, not telling you have to work fast, because definitely I learned by trial by fire, but definitely it helps. If you think your lines are just coming out a little shaky, just try to speed up your movements a little bit. Alright, so now all I'm doing is shading in these teeth, starting on this top jaw, and all I'm doing is just kind of giving it the ridge on the bottom of the teeth, right where you chew on, and then kind of a shadow going up from the top and around. Nothing too crazy, and we're just doing it with gray, and then we're going to come back with black once we have them all kind of unmasked, and we'll kind of give them a nice little blend, maybe a little bit more detail. And I'm doing these ones on this top portion here, pretty heavy because they are in the back. But as you'll notice here in a sec, some of the teeth are even kind of grouped together because there is no split in between them. So we'll do this guy here. And we'll just bring in that molar area right there, blam. And then we can move to the bottom here. Start doing the same thing with these guys. Do the top molar part, right? Just bring a nice shadow around. What's up, howdy? Saludos, Roberto. And just working my way around now. Now, as we work our way to these teeth that are in the front, I can just peel that one off. And the last one I believe that has any differentiation is this one right here. The rest are kind of all together, and all I'm doing is just bringing some nice little strokes from around the bottom going up. I'm not hitting that edge really hard anymore. Now we can go ahead and just take those off. There you go. At this point you can just continue the process. Just shade your teeth from the bottom going up. It's going to give them a nice round look. Give your molars some chomping power there. Same thing with the top. Kind of shade them going around. Give your molars some chomp. Now these front ones don't need no chomp. Bam. Okay, switch off to some black, and now you can come in. Now I'm just going to start down here, get it nice and close, and start doing some nice little details here. Go. All I'm doing is just kind of reinforcing everything we already did. Just getting in, adding some nice little details coming in. There you go. I don't even think we need any white. Now in your case, if you want to go back and add some white, you're more than free to do so. Let me put you back down here, and I can bring this camera in. And we can use some of this. Oh, not that. Get up there. Get up there. There you go. Alrighty, and then we can remove this one. And we can remove that one. No, not that one. This one. And that'll give you guys a nice, good, clean look. And there you go. Get a nice little result every time. That design is pretty much a 100% hit. We'll use 40-50 or 40-30 when done for protection. So I have, on these practice pieces like this, I actually have not been doing any kind of protection. But if you wanted to, I suppose you could. These just get stored away. So, but the one cool thing is if you have been doing these, and I'll leave that up for a sec while I go get the other ones. And I have to move the camera back for a second here. Let me get this camera over here. But if you have been doing these, the cool thing that you end up having, so if you just did that one, and then you go and you do the werewolf, and then you go and you do the eagle, right? Then you go and you do like the tribal skull, and you go and you do the cigarette smoke exercise, then you go do the wizard, then you do the snake, right? Then you do the dove, then you try to take on the Frankenstein, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna do the jet. Before you know it, you have yourself a nice little portfolio that you could show to people, and you could be like, yeah, I could do stuff like this. And you end up having a nice little display of demos. And then this one will just get added onto the stack there. So I have been keeping them, and then I just keep them away. I have like a special folder I keep them in. And I don't know what I'm going to do with these, honestly. Maybe we should add them to the giveaway stuff. We could add one to every prize. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's probably be enough. Those are all available online for download. Yeah, all of these exercises, pretty much all of these that I've shown here, I think, are all available on the mikesbrush.com on the Airbrush Videos tab. So if you're trying to get some practice in, whether it is just doing one of these simple ones, the skull one I would definitely recommend. This is like money. You know, but all these other ones are just good ways of getting your practice in. And then if you have them all, you know, in a nice folder, and when people come in and they're like, hey, well, what kind of stuff can you do? You bust these out. You know, and then because they are practice pieces, like I've been touching them and stuff, you know, but you're not so worried about them as much as you are, like, say, if you have a full cleared up metal panel that's already pinstriped and everything, and then handing it to somebody, and if they drop it, you know, it gets dented or something. yeah, it's a lot less nerve-wracking with some papers. You just hand them this, and then you could always make another one, right? Like. Anyway, guys, that's what I got today. Thank you guys all again, as always, for watching. If you want to help support the channel, consider joining the Skull Squad like Mr. 420 Dragon did today. Let me actually get the correct painting out here. And yeah, again, all these demos are available at mikesbrush.com/airbrush videos. You can go on there and you can check them all out. They're all available for free to download. If you think that you kind of learned something and you want to get yourself some stencils, and or you just want to help support the channel, any of the things that you order on the mikesbrush.com, whether it be a stencil, a stand, you know, one of the texturizers, anything like that, it all helps to support the channel to keep making more videos like this. So yeah, as always, I thank you guys for all your support. Make sure you hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Share it out if you think it's worth sharing. I appreciate, again, all your support. If you just, you know, even if it's just here watching, I do appreciate all you guys. What else? Yeah, July 30th, don't miss. Will be a giveaway. Be lots of fun. We'll see you guys in the next one, everybody. Later.